My mum bought this just so that I could save my tobacco and keep my house warm. And for that, she will always be my hero. So anyway, I thought I'd give this Burley and Virginia cigar another try. I left it to dry out, absolutely dry. It's still quite bendy, and I think that's just because of the wrappers on the Burley are so thin. It's like tissue paper. So if I was to make a cigar that was all Burley, it would be so tight on the draw because of how soft it is. Imagine if you were trying to roll a cigar made of tissue paper, how tight the draw would be compared to if you were making tubes made of paper and then wrapping them. So what I did is I gave it a day to just settle basically, and then I didn't bother burning the edges to correct the canoeing. I actually thought, you know what, I've got nothing to lose, and I snipped it all off with a knife, got it all nice and straight, and then any remaining ash that is in the end here, I actually packed it inwards so that when you light it, it becomes hot, and that will become your coal and also your insulation very, very quickly. So after a day, this has changed its character completely. Very interesting. As you can see, I don't have to puff as much as last time I tried it, just to get it moving. See how it's burning on this side now, and on this side it's evening out slowly. And I don't want to use smoking error, which is basically when you puff it too hard and you might get too much airflow on one side or the other. So what I've done is I've basically tried to feel my way to how I've stacked these leaves or the enchiladas on top of each other, which is basically like making a square shape, and then you're using the wrappers to force it into a round shape. So what I've done is I've spent maybe twice a day maybe just rolling it around. See how I have to basically do nothing to keep it going? The smallest amount of draw gives me a big amount of smoke. Even on the retro hail, which is the way you cycle it through your nose, there's no burn whatsoever. I'd have to work really hard on this cigar at the moment to make it burn my nose. So fermentation wise, smells pretty good. Could I have taken it further? I don't think so, because fermentation relies on sugar, and if there's no sugar in the Burley, what's it going to do? The next thing it's going to do is probably start digesting proteins, which is where your leaves start going black, which is what this dark fired stuff, you know, the fillers, the dark fillers I used on this. It smells like wine, it smells like coffee, it smells like cedar, even though it hasn't been in a cedar humidor. It smells like plums and fruit and raisins. It doesn't have the Virginia tobacco-y, cigar-y, rich smell that I would like. So I think for a blend, and this ring gauge would be better if it was a bigger ring gauge. The smaller you would get with the ring gauge on Burley, you're just not going to be able to get the airflow right. You'll be wasting your time basically, and you'll end up with all this sideburn. So see here how it's like blown out like a trumpet. That happens a lot with the short fillers that I've used, and in this case I think it's just because the Burley is so wrinkly when I put it in, but as you can see there's lines around it, which shows me it's collapsing in an even fashion as it goes along here. And as you smoke it, just turn it, so see how that's the most burnt? Flip it so that when the heat comes through it burns the top half. See, in the time I've been talking, it's stayed alight. You don't get rid of the ash because the ash has insulation basically, same as a fire. So if you flick the ash off like a cigarette, all it's going to do is burn the coal on the end faster. So people that habitually smoke cigarettes and don't do that, because you're actually just wasting money and time. So if I was to flick the ash off this, my insulation is now gone. That is so smooth compared to yesterday. Yesterday was a bit sharp. Today, still burning really well. I think with Virginia it would be so much better if I mixed it. Nicotine wise, I didn't get the same buzz that I got probably 3 weeks ago when I made the last one and just tried it a bit too early. The nicotine content has gone way down. I don't have that sick feeling, I don't have that buzzy feeling. I have the pure enjoyment of the flavour and the robustness, and the robustness has come out actually. It tastes a bit more like plums or plum wine, plum brandy, very close to that. Because I make plum brandy, I make wine, I make spirits, I make bourbon, I make whiskey, so I make cheese, I make leather, I make furniture, I make woodwork. So this is just another thing to learn and another thing to get better at. Smooth, no tongue burn. Tongue burn, I think people pass it off as a flavour, but I think that the tongue burn isn't the nicotine at all. I think the tongue burn means that there's too much potassium nitrate, too much unfermented stuff left in the tobacco. And so this doesn't have the tongue burn that it had 3 weeks ago. See, I'm drawing on that quite deeply and quite comfortably, and it's burning fine now. Whereas a couple of days ago, it was burning like garbage. So, anyway, those are the updates. It's worked. It's very nice, but I prefer Virginia inside it, so I'm going to have to make some enchiladas of Virginia. Catch you next time.